Hi, everybody. My name is Trisha Smith, and thanks for being here tonight. I am so excited to be on here and to share my journey. So a little bit about me. I am a wife. I'm a mom to two girls, a 15-year-old and almost 12-year-old. And I am 41 years old and feel amazing, better than I ever did in my 20s. I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 19 years. And, I had found myself in my 20s, my early 20s, just thinking I had it all put together and that I was healthy. I had the typical things, the normal things that we thought, the allergies, yearly sinus infections. I had reflux, and I was starting to get fatigued. Had some blood work done. My doctor said that was normal. He's like, everything looks fine. You're a nurse, you're working different hours. But you guys, as I'm learning, that was all inflammation. But as time went on, in my early 30s, I started to have some back pains, shoulder pains. I'm 23, almost getting ready to get married, and I was having more pains all over, more headaches, and GI issues. And, I did have one doctor mention fibromyalgia, and but they were like, you know what, you're too young. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have that. And kind of blew it off. But each year it was something else. It was more pain. I kind of felt like I was going crazy, and people the doctors were not listening to me, kind of thought I was a hypochondriac. And before I knew it, I'm in my early 30s, and I had a bad event at work, which ended up being a really severe migraine. Had the tingliness, almost thought I was having a stroke. But then at that time, when I went to see that neurologist, after probably, this is 10 years, you guys, of just pain, different things, being ruled out, being poked and probed, I was finally diagnosed with the fibromyalgia. So here I am in my early 30s with finding myself with fibromyalgia. I had the reflux, irritable bowel. I had restless leg syndrome. I had insomnia. I had muscle spasms all over. I'd get tingliness, joint pain, stiffness, very sensitive to cold. And I had adenometriosis, so I eventually had to have a hysterectomy, and I had to have my gallbladder taken out. That was all inflammation, but it was just like, it was always something. I felt like something was always going on for me, and that period of time just started this whole series of doctor visits and bag of medications after medications and therapies, and, up till about, 6 years ago, I had found myself in just a really bad place. I was losing hope. I was crying. My girls were crying because mom couldn't do anything. And so I started to research myself, and everything I found came back to what I ate. What I put on the end of my fork would affect how I felt. And so I went back to my doctor because I said, I am done with this. I want to fix this. I want to be able to have this gone. And he's like, I'm sorry, that's just something you're stuck with. And that just did not settle with me really well. I was realizing all these medications, I was doing everything he told me to do, were just Band-Aids. They were just masking my symptoms. They were not correcting my problem. And I wanted this to be gone. And I mentioned the whole nutrition, and he wasn't sure about that. He said he knew a little bit about it, but he's like, let's try this other medication, Savella. And that medication just sent me over the edge, and I thought I was dying. And so, at that time, I said that was enough. I was tired of feeling sick and tired. I had young kids, and I could just see the life that this was leading me to. And so this started my whole journey of becoming my own advocate. I took control of my own health. It was my responsibility. And I got out there and just started researching, but really, what did that mean? What does getting healthy and eating healthy, what did that mean? I was scared. I didn't know what to turn to, where to go. So my mom had mentioned Juice Plus to me. Fruits and vegetables in a capsule. I'm like, okay, no side effects. I was all game. Still wasn't quite sure about what I was getting into, but I started to gradually see some symptoms get better. I had no energy. I had chronic fatigue syndrome, and that was one of my main things. Just in a couple weeks, I started to notice my energy levels were changing. Before, I would have to set my alarm to get up, to take pain meds, muscle relaxers, to be able to get up to my second alarm, to be able to get out of bed because it hurt so much. And I wasn't needing that. And I had more energy. I wasn't having to sleep on the weekends, which was so big with my kids. And I started 3-4 month mark is when I started to notice my pain was getting better and I didn't need all of that. 8 month mark, no more migraines. And so you guys, it was just each year did just get a little bit better, and I started to have that more energy to where I wanted to work out. Because before, the doctors were like, you need to work out, you need to exercise. But it's a little hard to exercise when you're extremely tired and when you hurt. So I started to feel better, and I'm like, okay, I am going to run again. So I started running, which it was not easy, but I did it. And before I knew it, I started to run races, and I was up to 7Ks and then doing boot camps. And, you know, it just kept getting better and better. And through my journey of flooding my body with all those plants from Juice Plus and the Complete, I started to learn more about food and that direct correlation between what I ate and how I felt. And when I looked up fibromyalgia, migraines, IBS, it all did. It came back to what I ate and what I put in my body. And now Juice Plus, of course, was the building block. It started that, it was just that catalyst that led me to other things because it changed my taste buds and I wanted to drink more water. I wanted to eat healthier and better foods. And so it kind of helped me. It helped me with those cravings. But then I started digging deeper into what I needed to do. And gluten. So going gluten-free was one of the big things. Dairy-free, decreased, nothing processed, so decreased processed foods, and no added sugars. All of those things are very acidic and highly inflammatory. And when you have all that inflammation going in your body, that means your body is very acidic and you need it to become more alkaline. And what are fruits and vegetables? Fruits and vegetables, alkaline, full of oxygen, and they help with inflammation. And so that's why I started to feel better. And then I was able to put healthier things in my body. But through this community, all their support and just the learning and coming to events, I've learned how to just make one simple change at a time. And that was kind of how I did it, by just doing one change at a time. And I remember reading that it took years for me to get to where I was. And so it was for every year, so it's like 1 year of healing for every 4 years of living a toxic life. So I knew in my head it's going to take time to get to where I needed to be. But I was all for it because it was a lot better journey than where I was heading. And so out there, for you guys that are on this call, just give it time. Flood your body with those plants, making those changes one change at a time, and you will get there. It does, like I said, it just takes time because we are trying to fix at the cellular level and make some small changes. So, just getting out there, researching with the foods. I just, along with one of my friends, we started finding some other resources and tools on how to make a different pantry in my house. So I was able to go from that sad standard American diet, standard, pantry to a healthier pantry by using some other tools. And all I did was one change at a time. I started with breakfast, went to snacks, went to lunch, and went to dinner. And now 6 years later, oh my gosh, totally different pantry. Never thought my family would be on board. And we are just feeling amazing. And so you guys, you can do it too. If I could kick fibromyalgia's butt, you can too. All right, you guys, thanks for listening.